I triggered a full IRS audit on my own family. Less than 12 hours after they threw me out of the house, like I was disposable. Let that sink in. I am standing in the driveway when it happens. The air is cold, sharp enough to sting my lungs, and the sky looks like it is about to split open. My suitcase hits the concrete with a dull crack. One wheel snaps off and rolls a few inches before tipping over. No one picks it up. Not even me. Lily is the first to speak. Of course she is. She always is. Seriously, Evelyn? She snaps, arms crossed, her voice trembling with anger that feels rehearsed. You lose your job, and now everything falls on us? Who is going to fund my expansion now? Her words hit harder than the cold. Fund my expansion. Not, are you okay? Not what happened? Just money. Always money. I glance at her. Perfect hair, perfect makeup, the same curated version of success she sells online. If anyone else were watching, they would think she has everything under control. They would not see the cracks. I do. I have seen them for months. My mother steps in beside her like clockwork. Diane Carter, defender of the golden child. Her lips press into a thin line as she looks at me, not with concern, but disappointment. You know your sister depends on stability, she says. Her tone is soft, but there is steel underneath it. You cannot just fall apart like this. Fall apart, I almost laugh. Behind them. My father does not even bother pretending. Robert Carter walks past me without a word, carrying another box from my room. He sets it down next to the broken suitcase, straightens it with precise movements, and avoids my eyes completely. Your sister needs this house more than you do, he mutters. That is it. That is the verdict. No discussion, no hesitation. Just a quiet, efficient eviction. I stand there, soaked in a silence so heavy it feels physical. Across the street, Mrs. Thompson's porch light flickers on. I can feel her watching, curious. Uncomfortable, witnessing something she will probably talk about tomorrow morning over coffee. I wonder what the story will sound like when it reaches the neighborhood. Evelyn lost her job. Evelyn could not keep up. Evelyn had to leave. They will not mention the years I carried this family, the bills I quietly covered, the problems I solved before they even knew they existed. They never do. Lily leans against the doorframe now, her expression shifting into something almost smug. You will land on your feet, she says, tilting her head. You always do. If only she knew. I bend down slowly and pick up the suitcase. The broken wheel drags against the ground as I pull it toward the curb. The sound is loud, scraping, final. No one stops me. No one says goodbye. So I leave. The first drop of rain hits my face as I reach my car, then another. Within seconds, it turns into a steady downpour, soaking through my coat, my hair, everything. I toss the suitcase into the back seat and slide behind the wheel, slamming the door shut. Silence. Real silence this time. My hands rest on the steering wheel, but I do not start the engine. I just sit there, staring at the house. The lights are still on. Shadows move behind the curtains. Life continues inside like I was never part of it. Like I was already gone. I could go back in. I could explain everything. I could tell them the truth about where I work, about what I actually do, about the files I have been building for months. But I do not, because this tells me everything I need to know. I reach into my bag and pull out my laptop. It powers on with a soft hum, the glow of the screen lighting up the dark interior of the car. Rain taps steadily against the windows. Secure login, passwalls with Hadon code. The system opens. Lines of data fill the screen, financial records. Transaction histories, sparts that most people would never notice. But I notice them, I always do. The Carter family, every account, every inconsistency, every hidden move they thought no one would ever question. I scroll slowly, calmly. They thought I was the one who lost everything tonight. I exhale, long and steady, as I click into the case file. I started months ago. They had no idea. Abby was the only one who knew exactly how much they had to lose. I do not report my own family the night they throw me out. That would be emotional. Reckless, I am neither. By the time I am sitting in my car, rain hammering against the windshield. The truth is much simpler than that. I already started building the case weeks ago. And now, I just stop holding back. I close my eyes for a second, letting the sound of the storm settle into something steady. Then I look back at the screen, numbers per stalls, inconsistencies. To most people, it is noise. To me, it is a confession. I am a senior forensic auditor with the Internal Revenue Service. My job is not just to read financial records. My job is to understand behavior. People think fraud is about greed. It is not. It is about habits, repetition, small decisions stacking into something illegal. And my family? They are not careful. They are predictable. I open Lily's business file first. Lily Luxe Boutique, a name designed to look expensive, clean branding, influencer partnerships. A carefully constructed illusion of success. But the numbers tell a different story. Her reported income is low, too low. Yet her spending spikes every quarter. Entity purchases that do not match sales, marketing expenses that lead nowhere, transfers routed through accounts that should not exist. I zoom in on one transaction, then another. There it is. Unreported revenue. I lean back slightly, watching the pattern unfold like it always does. She is not just underreporting. She is hiding income through secondary payment processors, small amounts, frequent transfers. The kind that people think will slip through unnoticed. They never do, not forever. I switch tabs. Jason Reed, her fiancé. I already know what I am going to find before I even open the file. Still, I open it anyway. Shell companies, 3 of them, registered in different states. Minimal activity on paper, but consistent movement of funds underneath. He is not smart enough to build this himself. Which means one thing. They are working together. I feel something shift in my chest. Not pain. Not exactly. Recognition. So this is what all those late-night business calls were. I scroll further. Transfers between Lily's accounts and Jason's shell companies. Clean on the surface. Dirty underneath. Tax evasion. Plain and simple. I should stop there. I do not. I open my parents' records next. Robert Carter, Diane Carter. For a second, my hand hesitates on the trackpad. Not because I do not want to see it, but because part of me already knows. And I hate being right about this. The files load, and there it is. Hidden assets, but pleats, that are not declared, income streams that do not appear on their tax returns. Large deposits broken into smaller amounts to avoid reporting thresholds. I stare at the screen, my jaw tightening. They knew better. No, that is not true. They did not care. That is worse. A memory flashes in my mind. My mother asking me to take a quick look at some paperwork months ago. My father casually mentioning a small investment that did not need to be reported yet. Lily laughing about how taxes are basically optional if you know the system. I remember all of it now. Every conversation, every red flag. I was not blind. I was patient, because that is what I do. I build cases slowly, quietly, carefully. I gather evidence. I verify patterns. I make sure that when everything comes together, there is no way out. And for months, I did exactly that, not as their daughter, but as an auditor. I minimized my involvement. I stopped correcting their mistakes. I let them think they were getting away with it, that they were smarter than the system, that they did not need me. A small, humorless smile touches my lips. Tonight proved something. They never needed me. They only needed what I could fix for them. And now, I close the last file and sit back, staring at the screen as the rain continues to fall. Now I am done fixing things. I reach for my phone and scroll to a contact I do not use casually, Marcus Hill, my supervisor. I hesitate for exactly 1 second. Not because I am unsure, but because I understand exactly what this means. Once I make this call, there is no going back. No more family dinners, no more pretending, no more second chances. I press call. It rings once, twice, then he answers. Evelyn? His voice is calm, professional. He always sounds like that. I have a case, I say, my tone steady, controlled. Multiple subjects, strong indicators of coordinated tax evasion. I have documentation ready. There is a pause on the line. Then sharper now, more focused. Send it. I end the call. No hesitation, no regret. I reopen the laptop and begin attaching files. Evidence documentation logs, cross-references. Everything I have built over the past months. Every choice they made. Every line they crossed. Every mistake. When I hit send, the system confirms submission. Secure logged. Time-stamped. Official. I sit there for a moment, staring at the screen as the weight of it settles. This is not revenge. This is process. This is what happens when actions meet consequences. I close the laptop slowly. Somewhere across town, my family is probably still celebrating, lauding drinking, talking about expansion plans and future success. They have no idea what is already in motion. I start the engine this time. The headlights cut through the rain as I pull away from the curb. By the time they wake up tomorrow, they will already be on the radar. And once the system starts looking at you like that, it never looks away. I do not rush the process. That is the first rule. People think revenge is about speed, about striking while emotions are still raw. That is how you make mistakes. That is how cases fall apart. I do the opposite. I slow everything down. By the next morning, the rain is gone. The sky is clear, like nothing ever happened. I am sitting at a small table by the window of a quiet cafe. My laptop open, a cup of black coffee cooling beside me. Across town, my family is probably waking up in that house. Moving through their routines, Lily checking her phone, my mother planning her day, my father reviewing numbers he thinks are under control. They have no idea the system has already started watching. I refresh my email. There it is, subject line, asterisk case review, preliminary approval. I open it. Marcus does not waste words. Strong submission, proceeding to internal review. Do not engage subjects, maintain distance. I exhale slowly. Step 1 is complete. Now comes the part most people never see. The waiting. But I do not sit idle. I build pressure. I open a new document and start mapping timelines. Every transaction, every connection between Lily and Jason, every undeclared asset tied to my parents. I cross-reference dates with known reporting periods. I highlight inconsistencies. Bartol's becomes structure. Structure becomes evidence. I know exactly how this will unfold because I have seen it happen dozens of times before. First, the system flags. Then it watches. Then it moves. My phone buzzes. A message from Lily. Hey, about last night, you overreacted. I stare at the screen for a moment. Overreacted. Another message follows almost immediately. We still need to figure out funding. Jason says we can scale fast if we move now. Of course he does. I type nothing. Instead, I open her latest business filings again. I compare them to the real numbers I pulled from secondary processors. The gap is wider than I thought. Bigger fraud, bigger consequences. I close the message thread without replying. Silence is still doing more work than words ever could. Hours pass. Around noon, another email comes in. This one is different subject line. Asterisk, audit authorization. Approved. My fingers go still on the keyboard. There it is, the moment everything shifts. I open the document carefully, reading every line. Dotization granted, multi-subject audit. Financial review escalation. Docet monitoring initiated. It is official. There is no going back now. A strange calm settles over me, not excitement. Not satisfaction, clarity. I close the laptop halfway and look out the window. People move past the cafe, laughing, talking, living their lives, normal untouched. I wonder, briefly, how long my family has before their version of normal disappears. Not long. I open my laptop again and begin the next phase. Timing. That is what turns a process into an impact. I already know about the party tonight. Lily made sure everyone knew. She has been posting about it for weeks. Engagement celebration, business expansion. New beginnings. Perfect. I check the audit timeline again. Tinnel processing has already started. Financial institutions will begin receiving flags within hours. Monitoring protocols are active. I do not need to rush anything. I just need everything to collide at the right moment. My phone buzzes again. This time, it is my mother. Evelyn, come home. We need to talk. I almost admire the shift in tone. Less authority. I let it ring, then stopped. Then ring again. I do not answer. Instead, I forward the final set of supporting documents to Marcus. Additional transaction logs. Cross-linked accounts. Reinforcement for escalation. If this moves to enforcement, I want it airtight. No gaps. No doubt, I hit send. A few seconds later, a confirmation appears. Received. I close everything and sit back. Somewhere, systems are updating. Flags are spreading quietly through networks my family does not even know exist. Algorithms are doing what they were designed to do. Watching, tracking, building. And tonight they will celebrate. They will raise glasses, smile for photos, talk about growth, about success, about everything they think they have secured. They will not see it coming. Because consequences never announce themselves, they arrive. I pick up my coffee and take a slow sip. It has gone cold, but I do not mind. Neither has the decision I made. As I stand up and close my laptop, one thought settles clearly in my mind. By the time they pour their first glass of champagne tonight, the system will already have them marked. By the time I walk into the party, everything is already in motion. You just cannot see it yet. The house is brighter than I remember. Lights spill out onto the front lawn. Music hums through the walls, and expensive cars line the street like a quiet announcement of success. Laughter drifts through the air as guests move in and out, dressed in polished versions of themselves. It looks perfect, that is the point. I step inside slowly, unnoticed at first. Conversations overlap. Glasses clink. Someone is talking about investment opportunities near the kitchen. Someone else is complimenting Lily on how fast her business has grown. Of course they are. Illusions are always the most impressive right before they collapse. Lily stands near the center of the room, glowing under the attention. A white dress, soft curls, one hand wrapped around a champagne glass, the other resting lightly on Jason's arm. He leans in close to her, whispering something that makes her laugh. For a moment, I just watch, not with anger, not even with resentment, with clarity. This is who they are when they think they have won. My mother notices me first. Her smile falters, just slightly. "Evelyn," she says, stepping forward. "You came." There is something in her voice now that was not there last night. Not warmth, not quite guilt either. Uncertainty. My father turns next. His expression tightens the moment he sees me, like I am a problem that somehow followed him into a room where everything was supposed to be controlled. Lily takes a second longer. Then her face shifts. Confusion. Then annoyance. "You have some nerve showing up here," she says, her voice low but sharp. "After the way you left, the way I left, I almost smile." "I did not realize I needed permission," I reply, my tone even. Jason looks between us, already tense. He recognizes something is off, even if he does not know what. Good. He should. The room continues buzzing around us, unaware. Someone turns up the music slightly. A group near the bar starts laughing louder. For a brief moment, everything feels suspended. Then it happens, the front door opens again. But this time, no one laughs. No one talks. The shift is immediate. Subtle at first. A ripple. Conversations falter. Heeds turn. 3 people step inside, dark suits. Calm expressions, no hesitation. I recognize them instantly. Of course I do. Agent presence always changes a room. One of them speaks. Voice clear, controlled. "Good evening. We are with the Internal Revenue Service. We need to speak with Robert Carter, Diane Carter, Lily Carter, and Jason Reed." Silence complete utter, the kind that presses against your ears. My mother's hand flies to her chest. "There must be some mistake," she says quickly, her voice shaking. My father steps forward, anger rising fast. "You cannot just walk in here like this. This is a private event." The lead agent does not react. "We have authorization to proceed," he says. "We will need your cooperation." Lily's champagne glass trembles in her hand. "What is this about?" she demands, her voice cracking despite the effort to hold it steady. Jason says nothing. He already knows. I take a step forward, and that is when they all look at me. Really look. For the first time that night, for the first time in a long time. You asked a question last night, I say, my voice cutting clean through the silence. Lily's eyes lock onto mine, confused, afraid. Who is going to fund your business? I continue, calm, measured. Who is going to pay your bills? No one moves, no one breathes. I hold her gaze. Now, I say quietly, you should be asking who is going to pay your penalties. The words land, heavy, final. My father's face drains of color. What did you do? He demands, his voice breaking through the shock. I do not raise my voice. I do not step back. I did not do anything, I reply. A small pause. I just stopped fixing it. Around us, agents begin moving, quit instructions. Phones being taken, names being confirmed. The room fractures into pockets of panic. Guests step back. Whisper. Some start leaving, others stay, frozen, watching the collapse unfold in real time. Lily shakes her head, backing away like she can physically escape what is happening. No, no. This is not real. This is not happening. Jason grabs her arm, but his grip is unsteady. My mother starts crying. My father is still staring at me, like he is trying to understand how something he dismissed so easily has turned into something he cannot control. For the first time in my life, they look at me like I matter, and it is already too late. An agent approaches them with formal documentation, words like audit, financial review, and account suspension cut through the air. Everything they built, everything they thought was secure, frozen, questioned, exposed. I take a slow breath, not satisfaction, not revenge, just closure, because this was never about destroying them. It was about letting the truth do what it was always going to do. I turn toward the door. No one stops me this time. No one tells me to leave. As I step outside, the night air feels different, quieter, lighter. Behind me, the noise rises again, but it is no longer laughter. It is chaos. And for the first time in a long time, it has nothing to do with me. I do not go back to that house. Not the next day. Not the day after. Not ever. By the time the sun rises, everything has already started unraveling for them. I know how the process works. I have lived inside it for years. Once the system locks onto you, it does not let go. Accounts get flagged. Transactions get reviewed. Bar towels get exposed. And then, the calls begin. My phone lights up before I even get out of bed. Lily. I let it ring. Then my mother. Then my father. Voicemails stack up, one after another. I do not listen to them right away. I already know what they sound like. Panic always sounds the same. By noon, curiosity wins. I tap one of the messages and hold the phone to my ear. Evelyn, please. My mother's voice cracks, raw and unfamiliar. There has been some kind of misunderstanding. You need to call them. You need to fix this. Fix this. The words settle heavily in my chest. For years, that was my role. The one who fixed things. The one who made problems disappear before they became consequences. The one who carried everything quietly so no one else had to feel the weight. I end the message before she finishes. The next voicemail is my father. His voice is tighter, controlled, but strained. If this is some kind of mistake, you need to handle it immediately. Do you understand what is happening to us right now? Yes. I understand exactly what is happening. That is the problem. I set the phone down on the table and stare at it for a moment. They still do not get it. They still think this is something I can undo, something I should undo. A small, almost invisible shift happens inside me. And just like that, A.B. stopped feeling responsible. The rest of the day passes quietly. No dramatic confrontation, no final argument, just distance. Clean climbed. By evening, I am sitting in a new apartment. It is not large, but it is mine. A single lamp casts a warm glow across the room. My laptop is open on the table, but for once, I am not looking at financial reports or case files. I am looking at something else. My resignation letter. It is short, direct, final. I have spent years inside a system that taught me how to see everything, every flaw, every weakness, every hidden truth. Now I want to build something of my own, not to expose people, but to understand them. To help the ones who still have a choice, I send the email, no hesitation, no second thoughts, just like before. A few days later, I hear what happens to my family. The business is shut down pending investigation. Accounts frozen, reputation gone. The same people who once praised Lily's success are suddenly very quiet. Funny how that works. Jason disappears first. Of course he does. People like him always do. My parents try to hold things together, but the cracks are too deep now, too visible, too real. And for the first time in their lives, there is no one left to fix it for them. They call me again. More messages. Different tone this time. Not anger, not entitlement, something closer to fear. I do not answer, not because I hate them, not because I want them to suffer, but because I finally understand something I should have understood a long time ago. I was never their solution. I was their shield. And the moment I stepped away, they had to face everything on their own. Weeks pass. Life settles into something quieter, simpler. I open my own firm, small at first. Just me's, a desk, and a name on a door that no one recognizes yet. But that does not matter, because for the first time, everything I build belongs to me, not to a family that only valued me when I was useful, not to people who only saw me when they needed something. Just me. One evening, as the sun sets outside my office window, I lean back in my chair and let the silence fill the room. No chaos, no demands, no expectations. Just peace. And clarity. I think back to that night, the suitcase, the rain. The way they looked at me like I was nothing. I let the memory sit there for a moment. Then I let it go, because it does not define me anymore. It never really did. I pick up my bag, turn off the lights, and step out into the evening air. And as I lock the door behind me, one thought settles clearly in my mind. They treated me like I was nothing. So I let them find out what happens when nothing stops saving you. Tell me, if you were in my place, would you have walked away? Or would you have done exactly what I did?